Alright, so we're going to continue with Redux. This is going to be part 6 of the whole creating a little app with React, and this is only a client-side app. So the next thing we need to do where we left off is wire the store up, and this is where we use a provider and React Redux to configure a store to contain all the state around an app. And then conveniently we already have this wrapper thing here because we used Material UI. So I'm going to load in the provider. This is a class that is given to us by React Redux. And then what we're going to do here is use this provider to get the store. And then I'll wrap it around here and let this theme provider be wrapped there as well. So the other thing is I need this store. Luckily I already created this, and then if you don't know this, the way that let me close all these other files. If you don't know that the way modules work in JavaScript is if you do something in the global state of a module like this, it executes once, and then in the module loader it gets cached, right? So this store got created one time. It'll only be created one time, and then it's going to export this store object. So when I import this store, I'm going to actually get that only one instance. So it's going to do exactly what I want it to. And that's why I call that index.js in that store. So this store is going to be just this single instance of store that I created here. That should be all we need to do to wire that store up. Now the next part is we need to create a component with connect. And what I think I'm going to do is just wrap this app with connect. So that'll probably be the simplest thing for us at this point. So I'm going to pull in connect from React Redux. So let's grab, I'll put it up here. And then this this is going to become our base like connected component. So normally in a larger application you'd have multiple connected components, and this is kind of, again, this is the way that React and Redux are interacting. So the connected component can get props when they change. So you might have multiple places where you've got connected components in a large app, but in a really small app you may only have one. So that's what we're going to have. And then this is kind of the way you do this. You create your app. This is this is your class here, and then you're actually going to connect it here. This is the way you do it. So we'll do something like that. I'll call connect, and a lot of people do this on one line, but we'll do it here. I'll say yeah, connect app. So when I export that, it'll have connect wrapped around it. So now this means that we're going to get a dispatcher, and this dispatcher is what you actually use to pass actions into. So the other thing I'm going to do at this point is import the actions in here. We only have one right now, but that's all right. So import the import product actions from. So we are inside app. That's actually going to be not above it. It's going to be a sibling of it. So products, I'll call that products, product actions. And then now I can use these actions. So I can pass product actions down. So like one thing where I want to pass these down is I'll say product clicked, something like that. And that's where I would want to do like one of the, like I'd pass down the action for, yeah, product selected. So the trick is though, I can't, okay, something just copied somewhere that shouldn't have. The trick is I can't do it just like this. I have to wrap it in the dispatcher first. So that's what this whole business about the dispatcher is. And then there's a way to do this that's kind of convenient, which is with this map state to props and map dispatch to props. So we're going to use this paradigm here, or pattern, whatever you want to call it. So you'll say map state to props, map dispatch to props, and those will be the arguments into connect. So this is going to be really similar to the way we're going to do this. We'll say on product click. I don't like doing this without parens. And it'll say product, and we'll dispatch this action here with the product. And then we'll make another one called like on product deselect or something. Might as well call this on product select while we're at it, just to keep it nice and consistent. Product deselected, is that what we called that? Yes, we did. All right. This is gonna blow up horribly when I do this, by the way, but we'll figure out all the errors when they happen. So that's a dispatcher. This is the state that we're gonna get passed in. Actually, this will be really easy because the state is gonna be state.products.products. If you remember from last time, in the store, or sorry, in the reducer combiner, I called it products, and then there's only one value in the state, and it's called products. So should be state.products.products, and then these will be the props. So what we'll get inside of this component is, should have a constructor. You'll get props, and then you call super on props, not prod. And I'll say something like products equals this dot props dot products, right? And I think they all need this. Every component needs that list of products. So that what's happening here is we're mapping state to props. So we're saying this state is going to show up as props inside of this component like this. And then the other thing is we're mapping these dispatchers to props. So we're going to say these dispatchers are going to show up with these keys here. And we're going to pass them like that. So product clicked is here. And then we need, we can actually do, let's do product selected. Product selected. And then product deselected. On product select and on product deselect. All right, so this is kind of how we want to wire it up, and I'm going to be really surprised if this works, but it could. So I'm going to go ahead and just wire this in here, like so. And what this means is now inside of product grid, I'm going to have a property here called product selected, and you know, actually it doesn't need this. Or well, I suppose it does, because we need to know if a product has been selected or not. So inside of product grid, we'll have a product on there called product selected under the props. So now this is going to have props, and the props are going to be something that we're going to need to pass down to the product renderer. So we'll pass the props in here. Just gonna so what that means is in this render, remember we made this little render function. I moved it into a library function or component because it's used from both of these, but these are going to be used in both places. Okay, so this is now going to get props, and in this product tile we need to pass down that prop. So we need to say on product select equals props dot on product select. Is that what we called it? That may not be what we called it. See, now we're gonna have a problem. I'm gonna go ahead and just make these all the same name, just so we don't ever have any confusion, because I'm gonna keep passing this down. On product select. Okay, and then finally, I know this seems weird, but finally in this on click, now we have props here, and I'm gonna call props. Well, I'll actually do console.log product clicked, and then I'll say props.product. The second thing I'll do is do props.onProductSelect and then trigger that with the product. So now I'm going to call this function here in this onClick event. I'll be highly surprised if this works the first time, so don't be disappointed when it completely fails to function. Okay, so now now things are wired up, I'm going to get errors. So we've got reducers products type is not defined. Reducers products types, yeah, it should be types. Okay, on product select is not defined in app.js. On product select. Yeah, right. This should be this dot props, right? This should be this dot props. Okay, product is not defined in product tile index. Again, props dot product, and this is not produce, that's product. Cannot resolve action / products in app.js. It's because it's called actions. Yes. Okay, no useless constructor. Props is defined but never used in the product grid. Product grid should have props being used. Oh, it's these props. Got it. Okay. No useless constructor. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. We might actually use it later. So what we have now is a connected component, and this connected component is wiring up actions and the state. So again, I'll be surprised if this works, but let's give it a go. And each child should have a unique key in the product tile. Interesting. So let's go ahead and try and check this or click it or something. So I got product clicked. So that looks good. So let's see if our action got triggered. I'm gonna just go ahead and do a console log here. Product selected, product. Okay, that's good. So that means our action got triggered. And now let's see. So what happened was I have this wired in the map dispatcher. So that means this triggered. That triggered as we expected. So the next thing is this should go to the Redux Store. So it should go into this reducer. Let's just console log here. Got reducer call, and then we'll say, what is the state? What is the action? Okay. All right, that looks good. We got the product in there. Okay. So the other thing is we want to make this only trigger when you actually check the checkbox, but that's all right. I think that's easy enough to do. We just move that to the checkbox, wherever that went. There it is, checkbox. I think I can just say on click, and then I'll move this stuff here. Okay, good enough. And then that can go away. So refresh this. Yes, still working. Now if you click here, it doesn't do anything, but that should work. So now what I would like to do is I want to make this render based off of the product clicks. So I'm going to pop this out, or pop it down here. And then I want to make this render based on the list of products. So I should have passed it into the side here based on this app thing. So I've got a list of products, right? That should be populated. What we want to do is make sure it is before we start doing anything. So I'm just going to do a console log in here, and I'll say console.log shopping list props. Okay. Yeah, and so you see the shopping list props, it's got an array of products on here, and those are the correct products. So everything looks good. Everything looks good. So now, instead of rendering frames, we want to render props.products. And same thing here. This is going to work a little bit differently because there is no like this is going to be a little different. So this is the actual product now. You're not iterating over a map of or an object or the keys in the object. You just have an array of products. So this is going to be much simpler. So it's just literally going to be the product.name. Yeah, the product.name, product.price, and then same deal here, props.product, you can just map the actual products themselves, and it'll be product.price. Nice and simple there. So yeah, one trick is that this will not be good if there are no products. The reduce is going to fail. The way around this is we will just render this differently if there are no products. So what I'll do here is I'll say props.products.length greater than 0. and then I'll render this stuff. And then this is the whole table. Otherwise, whoops, I think it's question mark colon, right? Otherwise, I'll just say div no products selected. No products selected, but if I select one, yeah, now it's gonna render stuff, right? And now it's adding up. So that should be pretty exciting. Everything's working as we expected it to. So let's build a quad really quick. Let's build a quadcopter. So I'll use this cheap frame here. I'll use this SP Racing flight controller. I'll add these motors. I'll do some 20 amp speed controllers. I'll put in a RunCam Swift and a video transmitter. And how about, I'm not sure if this will work. Yep, that. Something's a little funky though, because if I uncheck it, nothing happens, right? Yeah, that is a problem. So we need to wire up deselect. For now though, let's just make sure this works. Seems to be pretty reasonable. It does seem to be fairly reasonable. There we go. So the next thing I'll do, well, maybe in the next video, we'll wire up unchecking the boxes. We'll wire up unchecking the boxes here. We'll clean some of this stuff up. We'll kind of clean this CSS up a little bit so that this can expand out farther, and maybe some of this stuff is on the next page. But that is it for this video. We've got Redux working, so I think that should take you pretty far in building a React app. Thanks for watching.